Hey guys, Shane Booth from MotoDevelopment. We're out here at Dargle Motocross Track and we're going to work on one of the hardest things to do on a dirt bike, and that's to ride ruts.
Ruts are one of the most technical elements to deal with on a dirt bike, but they are one of the most important to conquer if you want to be a successful rider and even more so a successful racer. There are a few key points to getting through a rut clean, but the most important is to keep everything as smooth as possible. That goes for your control inputs and also any transitions of body position on the bike. Another great overall approach when you are learning how to ride ruts is steady in, fast out. Which brings us to the first thing to cover off, your entry. Don't rush it. Set your speed early and flow into the rut. Make sure you approach in a way that allows both wheels to roll into the groove. Around this point is where you need to go from standing to your seated position. This will vary based on how rough your entry is and also a little on personal preference. Some riders like to sit down quite late in the corner, others are more comfortable and find it easier to flow in sitting earlier. Either way, you want to go from standing to seated in one efficient and smooth movement. Lift your inside foot off the foot peg and sit to the front of the seat, keeping your head up over the handlebars. In a rut, you need to lean with the bike so it follows the turn and doesn't try to stand you up all the time. It takes some practice to trust the feeling of leaning into a corner, but you will struggle with ruts until you get comfortable with this technique. Once you are seated and set in your position, the busiest period of riding ruts is done. Now it's about turning your head and turning the throttle. When you start to roll the throttle on, keep it smooth. If you're too aggressive, you can wheelie and it's tough to put the front wheel back down in the rut. You can be smooth and relatively aggressive, and that's what you're looking for. Your vision should be up and looking at the end of the rut, no matter how far that is. You'll find it much easier when you get this part of the technique right. Look out the end of the rut and that's where you'll go. As you accelerate out, try to avoid getting lazy and letting your weight go back. Keep your head forward so the bike stays in the rut and doesn't go into a wheelie. It's also important to cover your clutch in case you need it to adjust the power delivery or control a wheelie. Keep in mind with ruts, as you start to build confidence and your speed increases, you need to add more lean angle. Riders quite often get caught in the trap of adding speed but struggling with the bike standing up mid-rut. The faster you go, the more you need to lean in. With ruts, you'll benefit from repetition. Get the technique right and then practice, practice, practice. It's why most pro riders build turn tracks at their practice facility. It's a tight track with no jumps, just turns and ruts. It's the motocross version of going to the driving range. So get out there and practice.